You are about to see mutilated corpses, burning tank carcasses, and all out mayhem, brought to you by Frontline Fatalities.
Sup, COH fans, and welcome to episode 82 of Frontline Fatalities, brought to you by the Frontline Network, presented by me, FatalSaint, and my good friend Tommy. What's up, Tommy?
What's up, FatalSaint? We are here on the fields of Longra for another classic Vico matchup. We're going to be seeing one player that I'm sure a lot of you will have heard of, and another one that it's lesser known, but we're aware of him, aren't we? Who's going to be playing as the US in this game?
Yeah, taking on the US this time is going to be Linkinpark, and he's actually from the Japan COH community, and I've actually seen he does stream now and then, so you can catch him on Twitch when he streams, and you know, he's a fairly good player, especially Americans. I've seen him play a lot of Americans on his streams, and he's very aggressive.
Yeah, he's a good player. I've watched his stream a few times myself. And yeah, as you say, he's from the COH Japanese community. Playing as his opponent, we're going to be having Spanky up in the north as Wehrmacht, so it is reversed positions from regular tournament position, so this was an auto match game. Spanky's going to be taking on the Wehr in the north.
Okay, you ready to go, Tommy?
I'm ready.
At the 5-second mark, on pause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. For the beginning, we do have the racks coming up with just a 2 engineer start as usual for Linkinpark. What about Spanky?
Spanky going for a standard 2 Pioneer start. It'll be interesting to see what he does from this position as Wehr, because it is so very different from playing off the south. I'd say the map, generally speaking, still favors Wehr, whichever side you play from, just because of the abundance of munitions and the way that it's fairly easy to hold your cutoff, and flanking is just generally quite tricky. It requires a lot of skill, but all the same, it is more balanced, I think, when you're playing from the north, because it isn't quite so easy just to waltz to your opponent's cutoff. You have to sort of go around a slightly awkward hedge if you want to get there. And although it is possible to get a base pin in effect, and anyone who's seen Malum play this map, he does a very aggressive base pin from the north. It's much, much harder.
Yeah, I guess I reckon it's a little bit easier to pull it off if the Americans is in the north on this map. But we're gonna have the first rifle out from Linkinpark right now, and let's see if he's gonna go that aggressive as I've seen him play when he's streaming. I'm expecting him to basically go on a full out assault from the first minute now, and he's most likely gonna try to force Spanky off.
Well, it's an interesting way to play with your rifles. I think when you do the 2 engineer start, you are in a position to do that with your rifles. You can push very early, very aggressively with those rifles. Of course, what we have seen in sort of in the last few years since 2.602 is that multiple engineer starts became very popular with 3 or 4. And when you play like that, you sort of get very used to seeing quite passive rifles. But I think your guess about the aggressive rifle player is good here, because he is going down into the middle now, and almost within sight range of that Volk squad.
He just went to grab the strategic point with his rifles. He's now going straight for the cutoff of the Wehrmacht player Spanky right here. Yeah, and he's actually just gonna evade all of the units. We got 1 Pi on the left-hand side from Spanky just capping away. The Volk squad, his first initial Volk squad, is on the right-hand side munition, or the center munition point, while the second Volk squad just pops out at the same time as Linkinpark's second rifle pops out, but it's very far away from the front line. So I don't think he's going to manage to capture the strategic point. He might be able to decap it and get out of there, but that's basically gonna be it.
Yeah, so he does retreat after decapping that point there. I don't know if that was really
2 casualties.
Going so deep into enemy territory, you know that you're going to be outnumbered straight away there. And I don't know, will that be worth it just to cut off the munitions for a couple of minutes? Maybe. As I said, there is a lot of munitions on this map, and the more you can deprive from the Wehrmacht player, the easier your flanking will be later on in the game.
Well, we do have an engineer squad in the building here against a Volt squad and a Pio attacking from the short side. There's only, I think, one window there, and you know, he's not taking that many casualties. We do have a rifleman squad that's going to come up, and at the same time, I see on the fuel point on the far left-hand side of the map. Is that a?
That's a worker battle here. Engineers and pioneers going at long range.
We do have the second Volk squad from Spanky, but they're basically taking fire from all directions, as there's only two windows or one window on the right-hand side of that strong building. The other two rifles are actually shooting at the Volk squad, and we do have another rifleman squad reinforced now. The initial one from Linkinpark that decapped that strategic point, the cutoff from the Wehrmacht player, is coming back onto the field now and getting nice and close with this Volk squad, which is going to force him to retreat at one man, very low health, but there's not actually anything to finish him off. Those three rifles that remain in the building is going to be able to force off both the Pio and now the Volts is back pedaling away back to the other building, but they're very, very damaged, and lots of rifles now coming onto the field from Linkinpark. He's going right-hand side of that building with one squad. He's going down the center road with another squad, and he's got the third squad in the building and a fourth one queued up in the barracks.
Very nice early rifle play here from Linkinpark. After that initial early, slightly unnecessary loss, he put in some great pressure there on Spanky, and now he's got his Volk MG opening, and he is building a sniper, but of course anyone who's familiar with this build will know that the sniper does take quite a while to come out, and so for the time being at least, Linkinpark will be able to cap up the map and take advantage of this short time where he won't be facing too much fair opposition.
Yeah, Spanky only really sitting on like 5 sectors right now. He just now capped the fuel outside of his base because he went for the centric approach, going the right-hand side instead of the left. So he took quite a while to actually cap that up, while Linkinpark is sitting on, you know, 60-70% of the map right now, and his income is very strong, 48 munitions income and a 32 fuel income. He could potentially do whatever he wants to right now. He could go for grenades because he has the munitions to use that. He could go for bars to counter this Volk MG sniper build. He could even go for the motor pool if he feels the need to do that. And we do have actually bars now queued up in the barracks from Linkinpark, so it's going to be a bar and then a follow-up with something else.
Bars are a very sensible idea against Volk MG sniper because you are only facing a single MG. You can get a good flank off on that sniper and then potentially kill it with the bars. It's not as risky as some people would make it out to be. But you do need to actually make those early capitalizations, and what we're seeing here is quite a lot of riflemen lost and not a whole lot being killed from Spanky, so a bit of an unfortunate engagement there. We see a very, very low health Volk squad of 4 men there, and the rifles took a real pounding.
Yeah, he just needs that bar upgrade, and after that they're gonna rip those Volks to shreds, I believe. So, you know, Spanky's gotta pay attention right now because the bar upgrade just popped for all of these rifles, and Spanky immediately leaves and tries to go for some decap and actually cut him off from the fuel and munitions on the right-hand side of the map. But the left-hand side is in Linkinpark's firm hands. So, you know, he's still gonna have a good income, and he's already at 55 fuel after getting that bar upgrade. So he could potentially go for, you know, a motor pool now anyways if he wanted to. He just needs to put the supply yard up, but we'll see what he actually decides to go for. Ooh, Flamer on one man. He's gonna retreat. Let's see if the sniper is gonna try to annihilate him on retreat. He's too far out of range, and the sniper doesn't actually get the shot off.
That's one of the neat things about Longer is that there is actually an awful lot of fuel here. You can actually get one of the fastest M8s possible out of all the tournament maps. You can get that on Longer. You can have M8s coming out at 6.5 minutes with a 3 rifle opening. And as we've seen here, yeah, you know, he can go from those bars and then straight into a vehicle, which is probably, I don't know, I think given that Spanky hasn't held that much fuel, I think Linkinpark would be safe going for a vehicle or going for a WSC. Personally, I would go for the WSC because a tier 2 is almost certainly on the way from the Ver player, and so a sniper will counter both the enemy sniper and those tier 2 Grens.
Yeah, the MG as well, you can flash them out of the buildings. You know, the bars are fairly strong, and they're very good, especially against Volks. Dropping one bar on retreat down to 1 man. He's going to retreat past a Volt squad, actually, but he is engaged with another bar squad, and that 1-man bar squad is actually going to get away. That was fairly lucky that he engaged with the additional units at the same time as that retreat came. We do have flamers now, dual flamers for Linkinpark on his 2 engineers. I think he's going to go in for a flank.
Deep flank. That's a very deep flank.
Oh, where did those come from?
Right at the base there. I didn't even see where those guys came from.
Me neither, but they're inside the enemy base.
Volk squad. That was a brilliant flank there by Linkinpark. I had no idea where those guys came from. But,
The two
that
flamers,
was quite impressive.
Yeah, the two flamers from Linkinpark also forced the MG to relocate. He's hiding behind the hedge. The flamer is just going to go right past him, but there is the two support gunners on that MG, and that the flamer engineer is very low health. He retreats past the MG, is very low health. The sniper is gonna polish him off on retreat, but these bar rifles just keep coming. But I don't really have anything to polish off this MG. One of the bar squads, Vet 1, is actually pinned, and the other one gets suppressed, picks up the bar, very low health, retreats back. The sniper is not in a position to take a shot on that squad. He's most likely going to get out of there alive, but that's two very, very close retreats and one engineer flamer down for Linkinpark.
Even with killing a Volk squad there, I'm not sure if that was quite worth the amount of manpower that he lost in that engagement. It was a very, very costly engagement indeed for those rifles. And now Spanky is able to transition very nicely into the tier 2 straight away. Now, he's doing something interesting here. He's queued up 2 Grens straight away, although he's seen bars already. Personally, I would be prioritizing the veterancy as quickly as possible.
One Gren and then veterancy? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played COH competitively since I switched to the Steam servers, but prior to that, my strategy was always against bars to get veterancy, Vet 2 before the second Gren came out. The only time when I would get multiple Grens before Vet 2 would be if I had just such an insane surplus of manpower, and you know, the game was clearly won anyway.
Yeah, then you can gamble, etc. But otherwise, I guess you would go, as you say, maybe one Gren and then get the veterancy. Preferably Vet 2 if you can afford it fuel-wise after putting up your tier 2 building. Because Spanky has kind of not really had that much of a fuel income. He's had the 2 fuel points outside of his bases, but he's never had the left-hand side bottom or the right-hand side fuel. So I'm not sure. Could he afford?
He's in quite a stable position fuel-wise. He's got 100 fuel in the bank.
Oh, that's enough.
So he's you know, he could pretty much go down whatever tech route he wants, but the recommended one from my point of view would be definitely to that's a nasty mine. Would be
very nice. Oh, grenades were actually teched, and a triage center is up in Linkinpark. He's going all out on the rifleman. Ooh, nice grenade on the MG, very low health. This might actually annihilate him. He packs up. Ooh, the third gunner is just out of range from the splash radius from the grenade. That was lucky because all 3 men was very low health. One grenade could potentially had annihilated that entire MG there in one go. But luckily for Spanky, that third guy actually stayed away from that grenade. We have a pack out now from Spanky right now. Do you think he's just misreading? He should have maybe cancelled that as he saw the grenade tech, or what? Yeah,
I think he was sort of, I think, given more time, he would have cancelled that pack, but it was very close to when it got built. I think, yeah, he definitely should have cancelled that, having seen those grenades. Because I think when you are playing a Ver and you see your opponent is constantly flanking you, it's a good sign that there isn't a vehicle on the way. It's a good sign that he is going to invest more heavily into his infantry tech, either with supply out upgrades or with grenades and triage and stuff like that. Especially you got to read the more subtle signs. Like if you see full health rifle squads, then you know that you've got another 20 fuel has been invested into something that isn't going to be a vehicle. And generally speaking, as a Ver player, you want to try and delay building that pack for as long as possible, because if you misread, then it's total waste of space.
Ooh, a rifle's gonna run into a mine there. He would have gotten around the MG, which was actually on the move. Luckily for Spanky, the rifles from Linkinpark just kept going right into that mine, and that forces that rifleman squad to retreat, because combined with the bars and the grenades, he could potentially have been able to force off both the MG and the Gren, or kill either one of those 2 units, because the Grens are unvetted, so bars are still fairly strong against these the infantry squads from Spanky right now.
A minesweeper from Spanky went down, got chased down by a bar squad and annihilated.
Now we do have some infantry veterancy for Spanky rolling in. Vet 1 so far. Is he? Does he have Vet 2 queued up, or is lacking manpower?
Not yet. Still lacking manpower for it. Has
Grenade
more than enough
nicely
fuel,
dodged.
but lacking manpower. The sniper in the building is playing a dangerous game here.
He gets out, and there's actually a mine outside of the door of that building from Spanky. So if any of the forces try to go in through that door, here comes the rifleman now. He's gonna flank that sniper, forcing him to retreat.
Focus fire,
yeah.
Or to be able to finish off that sniper, really.
No bar crits. No bar crits. He's still alive. Here comes another rifleman squad. They get suppressed by an MG, and that sniper's gonna live.
Unbelievable.
Retreating past a flamer MG and a Vet 1 bar squad. Would you have, actually even thought the slightest that your sniper would have survived in an engagement
No
like
way. No way.
He would have just like retreated and then looked away,
Yeah,
so you don't have to look at
I
him
would have
dying.
I would have just expected it, you know, just moved on. That was very, very fortunate there for Spanky. But overall, the impact of the sniper past this point in the game sort of goes down a little bit. Does depend on what your opponent does, but whether he lost that sniper or not, probably wouldn't have made too much difference, because now the Vet 2 is coming in for Spanky, and once those Vet 2 Grens hit, they basically fulfill the role of the sniper.
Yeah, they will be able to tango quite confidently with these barred rifles. We do have some veterancy on some of the barred rifles, but it's only Vet 1 on 2 squads so far, and he did lose one of the Flamer engineers, so Linkinpark is down to 1 Flamer and the 4 rifles. He does have the supply yard in his base, but he hasn't actually built anything else. We have 60 fuel in the bank for Linkinpark, combined with Airborne Doctrine Chosen, and the AT gun is actually unlocked in case, I guess, Spanky gets some form of vehicle, like if he could somehow afford tier 3 fuel and manpower wise. But you know, with Vet 2 now, I guess, you know, he could barely afford the tier 3 building.
Yeah, I mean, he could just about afford teching it, but then he wouldn't be able to actually build it then for a few minutes afterwards.
Linkinpark is trying his best with the combination of grenades and bars to fight these Vet 2 Grens, but look at the damage they do, and they basically take no damage whatsoever from these rifles. And they are forced to retreat from that fuel point down to 1 man. One of them gets cut down on retreat by these Vet 2 Grens. And you can just see on the health, they're 60% health, still at 4 men, and still at Vet 2 with passive health regen, and even the possibility of popping a medkit on them. He didn't suffer any manpower loss at all in that engagement, and he killed a good 3-4 rifles from Linkinpark.
I think it's about to change though here as these Vet 2 rifles come in. This is
There's one casualty.
Safe to retreat there, I think. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. Spanky had already started teching tier 3 when I said he could just about afford to tech it, but couldn't afford the building, because he just finished the tech on it, and he can definitely afford the building, which is what he has now just started to do. He's going to be building that tier 3 building. And getting himself some... No, he is... Yeah, he's building a spare Pioneer, and then he's going to start building the Stone Armory.
Did both these Flamer Pioneer die in some engagements as well?
Yeah, he lost another Flamer trying to lay a mine in the center.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so both Pioneers down for Spanky, so he's forced to rebuild one just to get the tier 3 building in his base, and he started producing it right now. And the Sniper is still alive, 22 kills now for Spanky's Sniper, and considering that Linkinpark has gone so heavy on the infantry side, combined now with the Vet 2 Grens, he just needs to keep teching. He needs to get something else into his arsenal, because these rifles are just not going to be enough, I think.
No, his rifles aren't going to cut it, and when the Pumas arrive, he's going to need some form of AT as well. An M8 would be the obvious choice, but it remains to be seen which way he's going to go. If he's going airborne, that sort of tends to complement Tank Depot a little bit better, but I don't know if he can afford that right now.
Did have a Bay recon, actually. I'm not exactly sure if it was just to light up the Sniper from Spanky so he can keep pursuing it with this Vet 2 rifles, but the Sniper does get into the base out of harm's way. Vet 1 on support units now from Spanky as well. What do you think about that? MG and
unnecessary,
Sniper,
I'd say, for just because the Sniper
squads?
doesn't really get any noticeable benefit, and the MG, well, there's only one MG. Bit unnecessary, but a nice upgrade overall. If you can afford it and you lose nothing, then oh boy, this Sniper now is surely gonna die.
Focus fire from the bars. There it goes. Sniper finally down, but that's just one of the 2 threats right now against the barred rifles. The Vet 2 Grens remain to fight for these rifles now. One of the rifleman squad is up to Vet 2, but you know, without the Vet 3 they can't really disintegrate Grens like that, so he's still gonna have to fight, you know, casualty per casualty against these Grens, even with the Sniper down. And there's no teching in the base. We do have a TD coming up now, actually, and he cancels it immediately. I'm not exactly sure why. For a WSC against the Grens with the Sniper dead, his Sniper can reign supreme? I don't know.
Well, I mean, he did just spot the Sturm Armory, so I'm a little confused, honestly. Unless...
Well, he's got airborne. Oh, he cancelled it again.
Yeah, he's feeling very indecisive, which is never good. But airborne, yeah, well...
RRs against Pumas are not extremely reliable, you know.
No, is my only thought to this. Oh, that's a nice proper order to get rid of a couple of rifles there. Could have let them come a little bit closer first, but nice proper order nonetheless. But yeah, I don't know. Airborne, very odd choice. I mean, Airborne, just generally speaking, is quite specialist for US, really.
He shows it very early, the Doctrine. He shows it extremely early. I don't know why.
Yeah, and went down the left-hand side, which is even more confusing, because normally when people go for Airborne, the first thing they do is like, strafe,
strafe.
strafe.
That's exactly what you want to do generally when you go Airborne in the beginning. But I don't know why he did it. Maybe he had some form of a game plan. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but most likely the game plan might be to skip motor pool, get lots of infantry upgrades for your rifles, and just get the AT guns on the left-hand side of Airborne in case your opponent goes tier 1, tier 3. I don't know what exactly the plan was.
I don't know if it's going entirely as he thought it might do, because now he's really struggling against these Puma and Gren combination here. I mean, if I was Spanky right now, I'd be laughing my ass off. I'd just be getting more and more Pumas and stacking up on the Puma veterancy. I'd probably get 2 Pumas and then go straight to vet 3 Pumas, because that's all he needs to really put the hurt on the US player here.
Yeah, WSC is put up in Linkinpark's base now, so he has made his decision. WSC it is, and I guess he's gonna try to counter the Puma. Maybe get an AT gun from Airborne. We just did have supply drops unlocked as well. And then maybe, I don't know, get a sniper and pop away at the Grens. I don't know.
Well, a sniper has actually been rebuilt by Spanky as, I guess, a counter to the Airborne. But one thing that you have to bear in mind, although snipers are a very good counter to elite infantry in general, such as Rangers and Vet 2 Grens and stuff like that, they're not actually a very good counter to Airborne, because Airborne, while moving, they actually have a really nifty received accuracy modifier, which means that while moving, weapons often miss, particularly snipers often miss moving Airborne. So
very
it's
interesting.
It's not.
And you can reinforce in the field.
Exactly, you can reinforce in the field. So snipers, not so hot against Airborne. Flamers are great, and Pumas are great. They're probably the 2 best things you can get against Airborne.
Yeah, even against Airborne with RRs, if you keep the Puma moving, you won't hit it reliably. So you don't have to be that afraid. If you get unlucky in the initial, initial engagement with the Airborne, and both of the recoil assist rifles will actually hit the Puma, then you can just back away and run away quite easily, because the Airborne just can't keep up with the vehicle speed of the Puma. So you're probably safe going with the Pumas against the Airborne, even if they go for recoil assist rifles. But you gotta be wary. There's AT guns in the Airborne arsenal as well, and they're fairly good. They do quite a lot of damage to Pumas.
Yeah, and he's going to need one of those sooner rather than later.
I think he might be saving for one.
Wants to avoid getting kicked around by these Pumas.
I think he might be saving for one. He's got 320. Either an AT gun or a sniper. We'll see what he decides to do. I have the WSC shows and targeted. It's gonna be a sniper actually. He's gonna skip the AT gun.
Sniper. Yeah. Well, a sniper could work, if you can kill enough of the Grenadiers, and the Pumas are forced to back away anyway out of necessity. So,
Maybe.
it's a decision. Personally, I think. I don't know. It's a tricky one to be in, because he's struggling against these Grenadiers and equally against the Pumas. And actually, we saw another bar get dropped over here on the right-hand side, and I think these Grenadiers are going to pick it up. But what are the Airborne doing?
He threw a grenade!
The bar. Very clever. Very nice.
I like that little trick. He got 1 casualty out of the mix, but he did lose the bar. And I think if he just would have kept running with the Airborne, he most likely would have been able to pick it up. But I'm not exactly sure if they're...
I don't think they have enough.
They're full of weapon slots?
Yeah, I think that's why he chucked a grenade at it.
Interesting. We do have a flavor now against this Puma. Is going to disintegrate those engineers combined with his MG. He's just gonna need to retreat. Just retreat. Get out of there.
It's not much fun. Not much fun at all. 1 grenade does go into the building, but nicely dodged there by Spanky. Gets out of there before taking too much damage. The Puma needs to keep on backing away, though. He's stood stationary for a second and got tagged in the rear.
Yeah, needs to keep moving so you get that... the evasion modifier, the extra dodge, and he actually prop wars them away from the field, and that means there's no AT, no reliable AT on the field, even though the recoil assist rifles are not even that reliable against Pumas anyway. But right now there's nothing, because I saw that Linkinpark did research stickies, but he cancelled them for grenades before, as he saw tier 2, I think. He wanted grenades against the Grenadiers in the early engagements of this battle. But now he's got, I think he only has the RRs actually. He doesn't even have stickies, nothing. No AT gun, no stickies, no nothing. No tanks, no vehicles, no M8.
It's not a great position to be in for Linkinpark.
It looked so good in the beginning. He had all of the map almost, apart from maybe 5 sectors.
Yeah, he just kept on sort of throwing himself in before making that tech choice. I think you don't really have a choice if you do decide to go down the extremely heavy infantry route with bars, grenades, and triage. You don't really have the fuel to tech for anything else. But yeah, it's just a questionable tech choice, really, in itself.
Let's see, we have Stickies researching in the barracks for Linkinpark. We have the sniper on the field. We got some veterancy spread out all over his forces. He's getting some kills, even though the Grens are vet 2. Grenades are helping him, I think, especially. He gets 1 or 2 kills here and there, and that's plenty of XP. But this sniper now just needs to start opening up and popping away. He does know there's a Wehrmacht sniper on the field again, even after killing the first one in the base of Spanky. But he does have recon unlocked, and he's got 1 CP now, so only 1 away from the strafe. So some form of a miraculous attack, and combined with a strafe off map, that might work.
It could do something. There's another grenade, but again, nicely dodged by Spanky's grenadiers there.
Very
Rifleman came up into the middle, but realized, oh, there's an awful lot of barbed wire there.
Yeah, he's actually confined of exiting the base on the right-hand side or on the far left-hand side. The wire in the center has actually been run over by the Pumas from Spanky, I think. And we have a Stag now also on the field of Longray from Spanky, but I don't know, he doesn't really have that much to shoot at. He can snipe away at rifles all day long, I guess.
Yeah, I think the Stug was just insurance. Probably, I mean, to be honest...
But he had a pack.
Yeah, he had a pack as well. I don't really understand it, especially after he saw the airborne. Once you see airborne, your opponent is giving you a clear pass to invest in Vet 3 Pumas. That's really all it is. Whenever I see airborne, I think, oh, thank you so much. I've always wanted loads of Vet 3 Pumas in my army. But the Nebel is a good choice.
Nebel is good.
Because obviously all the AT is focused on that single squad with the RRs, so everything's sort of going to be forced to blob around those units.
Yeah, and if you blob and a Nebel hits you, you get suppressed and pinned very rapidly and basically forced to retreat. Yeah, AT gun. Finally an AT gun somewhere. Where is it going to go? I'm not exactly sure. Although, there it is on the right-hand side.
You want to know something really scary? I'm on looking at Spanky. He went Terra. Obviously, we've seen various prop wars. He's got a prop war unlocked, of course, and he is now 4.5 CPs down after the prop war tree, which means he is just half a CP away from the King Tiger.
Oh, wow. And the King Tiger can technically just roll in, sit on the AT gun, decrew that combined with the Axis sniper, as long as it doesn't get counter-sniped or rushed by infantry. You know, with this combined force from Spanky right now, he feels fairly unstoppable.
Yeah, I don't know what Linkinpark can do here to try and break out. He needs this sniper to really, really hammer Spanky. That's the one thing he can do. If he can apply enough manpower pressure, then it'll make the KT take a lot longer to come out. I think he's hunting for the counter-snipe here because he's sort of walking around even while he's in range of these grenadiers, but that's a bad decision. At this point in the game, especially when you're behind, you can't afford to wait around for that counter-snipe, especially as the Axis sniper isn't really doing a whole lot for Spanky right now. It's got 6 kills, it's only really shooting rifles at this point, even if both sides only exchanged a shot for shot. The US sniper would make a far bigger economical profit.
Yeah, and he'll also vet up very rapidly against these Vet 2 Grens, and as everybody knows, the Vet 3 sniper is just impossible to catch. Then Spanky would be forced to fish for the counter-snipe himself, and you know, that might cause an annoyance and more micro required on his sniper, which means less micro on the rest of his units. So I think he should just start opening up and plugging away at these Grens.
5 CPs. The KT is now unlockable.
Unlocked, but he doesn't really need it, I guess, but he could get it just to add this massive damage sponge to his army, and with that, combined with all of the Grens and all of the vehicles, the Pumas and the Stug, he could basically, I think, confine the US player in his base and basically just set up a defensive perimeter around it, drain him of the last VPs. He's down to 296 VPs right now, and almost annihilate his base with that force, I think. I don't think that snipers would be enough.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This rifle squad walks into 2 boomers, stationary, and a sniper. Just instantly evaporates.
Yeah, he's fighting on the left-hand side with the Vet 2 rifles, so his most powerful vetted squad is over there, and it does force off a Volk squad from Spanky, the remaining Volk squad, after losing 1 in the base before. But these Pumas right now is proving to be quite difficult for these airborne to handle, and the AT gun is all over on the right-hand side, and they can't help them out.
Oh, Spanky must be feeling very comfortable. He's even got an LMG on one of his Grens.
Ooh, sniper. Axis sniper is decloaked. The ally sniper is going to take a shot and gets the counter snipe off. Small victory from Linkinpark, which he sorely needed. But Is it gonna be enough?
And will he, in fact, lose that eye sniper on retreat? He could.
Oh!
He does.
We do have a new sniper, however, from Linkinpark, so that needs to start plugging away immediately. The AT gun needs to take a shot on that Puma, immobilized, but I think he's not in the correct angle to actually shoot at it. Or is he? Oh, there he goes. Puma goes down, allied sniper lost, however, and there's a strafe on the Grens to pin those, forcing them to retreat. And the new allied sniper from Linkinpark now has his work cut out for him. He needs to start plugging away complete all over the place immediately, right now, and just go, go, go.
Oh, that was a lovely Nebel strike right in the ghoulies. But yeah, I don't know. The KT's now on the field, rolling out. Spanky's obviously going to have that 5 minutes of vastly reduced manpower income. Actually, look at this. In the building where he had the MG, that very strong central building, he's actually upgraded it to a forward HQ.
I saw that before. Yeah, that was
interesting.
So
he's. I mean, it's going to take an awful lot now for Linkinpark to force him off. He needs more units than he can afford right now.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what he needs to actually complement his army right now. He has recruited his AT gun, which he sorely needs. He's got the RRs, but with the KT on the field, it's not going to be enough AT. He needs at least a second AT gun, I think. Especially as, you know, one AT gun is easily going to get flanked by the Pumas, decrewed, or just basically, he could just tank it with the KT. The AT gun just sit in front of it and destroy it completely.
I mean, it's really up to Spanky how he wants to defeat his opponent right now. He can do it in a number of ways.
Building a minefield seems to be his choice. He's got a minefield.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the safe way. The safe way to go right now is to camp the two VPs, use the KT like a big fat 88, and just sit there and wait for the US player to attack into him, because eventually the US player is going to have to either lose due to the VPs or make suicidal attacks, and well, neither of those is really going to end up too well.
No, I don't know what he needs to do. The sniper, he needs to utilize his sniper, get the support away, but at the same time he needs more AT, I think, especially now with the KT on the field from Spanky. So another AT gun, a nice combined attack somehow, but he's sending all of his rifles, 3 rifles, the Vet 2 and 2 unvetted rifles to the left-hand side of the map right now. And the Grants are, they look to be chasing them to go after this cutoff. So they need to turn around, and that's exactly what one of the 3 squads does. The Vet 2 squad turns around to go combat these Vet 2 Grens for Spanky. But at the same time, you know, there's always the possibility of a Puma coming into the mix, and I don't know. He needs to be everywhere at the same time. The Vet 3 might help. Vet 3 rifle. Oh, nice grenade, he's not getting dodged. The LMG Grens get evaporated down to 1 man. He's going to be forced to retreat both of those Grens, but he did lose that cut off just for a very minimal amount of time, however, and it's just really cutting him off for a 60 munitions points.
This KT took a little, just a very, very little bit of damage from the AT gun and RRs. Got forced to just move back a little bit. Yeah, he did. It's he's taking out the rep bunker, guys.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, prop war the airborne away from the AT gun. He's just gonna go sit in front of this AT gun most likely now. Why is he not taking a shot at it? I'm not exactly sure. The KT felt like shooting at the rifles at the VP instead, I think. He misses the AT gun, luckily for Linkinpark, but I don't know. There's nothing else there to protect it. It gets decrewed in 1 shot.
Oh, I think he just activated AP rounds as well.
50 munitions down the drain in that case, and these Vet 3 rifles, even though they do dish out a tremendous amount of damage, they can't stand up to the Pumas right now. Not alone, they need support, and there's no support to be given.
Linkinpark going for an aggressive infield reinforcement of that AT gun, I think.
Yeah, airborne
whoa, he's playing a dangerous game here, letting these airborne go down so low.
Ooh, I'm not exactly sure if he was trying to focus fire down the remaining guy on the airborne squad there. But he decreased it yet again, and here comes the Vet 2 Grants again. Strafe used by Linkinpark to get those away. And the AT gun remains uncrewed. And we do have AT gun on the left-hand side now, actually, so some support to these rifles over on the left. But he needs VPs now. He is draining down to 229 VPs so far. He's going to need to do something more than what he's doing right now. But he's making a little bit of a comeback, I think.
He does seem to be making a bit of headway on the left-hand side, and he's done a lot of damage to the KT. It's going to be forced to go and sit in the backfield for a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's... Where is that allied sniper?
It's in the base.
there. It just needs to be.
Is Spanky still suffering from the penalty, the manpower income penalty from the KT?
Is.
Ooh, okay.
He is.
So he has.
I imagine it'll be wearing off quite soon.
Yeah, I think it feels like it's almost been 5 minutes now soon, so it's gonna wear off, and when that happens, his little window of opportunity to apply pressure to the defensive position from Spanky is gonna end. And you know, he has a minefield to traverse. There's 4 mines on the right-hand side of the map, going all the way into the center, spread out. There's mines in the center, on the crossroads, everywhere. This looks like a nightmare to crack.
Is back to normal.
Okay. So his window is closing right now. He needs some form of a heroic assault on the defensive positions from the Wehrmacht player Spanky now. Ah, there's a nasty mine on the crossroads. That's going to force those rifles to retreat. And at the same time,
and just charging valiantly into the center, but they're up against just an awful lot of firepower. And that KT getting repaired by a rep bunker and 2 lots of regular pioneers is back in almost 75% health even after just a couple of minutes.
AT gun on the left-hand side gets caught out by these 2 Grens from Spanky. He's surely gonna get decrewed. The Vet 1 rifle is already retreating, and the AT gun is trying to backpedal away, but it's gonna get there goes the strafe. He only catches one of the 2 squads, however, and there's nothing to actually damage them. Spanky still retreats the Bard Gren instead of just waiting for it to wear off.
There's a firestorm, and it's on the AT gun here on the right-hand side. And I don't know, Linkinpark does seem to notice. He is now moving back, but not quick enough before the AT gun gets cleared, and it's surely going to get destroyed.
There goes the gun as well, and the left-hand side AT gun is decrewed by the LMG Grens, and a Puma is now there to destroy the gun itself. That's going to leave him down to just the recoilless rifles again. Is there still 2 Pumas alive? One of them died, I think.
There is just the one, just the one at the moment.
Puma,
on the left side.
Stug, KT, a forward HQ to combat, and a Nebel raining down on you constantly. He's still not in a really good position. He retook a lot of the left-hand side of the map, but apart from that, he's basically back to square one as he was before.
Yeah, now that he's lost that AT gun, he's definitely back to square one.
What's the sniper doing? Crazy sniper.
Playing a very dangerous game.
Well, I guess he feels confident that the Puma is not going to chase him against the Vet 3 rifles. That sticky increased damage is most likely going to cause him some form of a nasty critical, like a destroyed engine or an immobilization. But the KT now, is he just going for a scout? Is this a V1? What's happening?
No, he hasn't unlocked the V1 yet. I'm not quite sure what he's doing.
Here comes the Pumas as well, into the base.
He's come to do a little bit of gardening. He rolled up, took down the hedge, and then backed away again.
Is he going to go for the supply yard?
Didn't mean to do that.
He's gonna destroy the supply yard. That's gotta be it. I can't think of anything else. Why would he do this? Yeah, he's focus firing down the supply yard.
As good a target as any, I suppose.
But KT is doing quite a lot of damage against the supply yard. Then again, it's a KT, I guess. Valiant effort for Linkinpark now. He's charging down all of these vehicles from Spanky now with everything he's got basically that is available to him. He's got stickies coming in all over the place. Immobilized on one of the Pumas, sitting right on the mine. That would be quite hilarious if a rifle went up to that mine, detonated it, and destroyed the Puma in the process. But Vet 2 now for light vehicles from Spanky, and the second Puma is rebuilt. These recoilless rifle airborne is gonna have a lot of work to do and gets finished off on retreat down to 1 man. Drops the recoilless rifle. Vet 3 rifles getting shot at by everything now, and I think this is basically it.
That is the game over there. The last final charge of the US player there. Valiant, but ultimately rather deadly for his rifles.
The Pumas, the stationary Pumas, just rips everything to shreds. It's, you know, as I saw in this replay, Vet 3 rifles are usually fairly feared. They can do a lot of damage. Their DPS output is enormous, and even if you got Vet 2 Grens, everything just melts to the Vet 3 Bard rifles. But Pumas just don't. They don't care. They don't care at all.
Didn't really feel like the Vet 3 rifles got much of a look in, to be honest. It wasn't like they were sort of terminating through.
No, they didn't turn into that Terminator squads that they usually do. So that was fairly surprising, I have to say. Very good game, and you know, always nice to see some new players. Linkinpark, very, very good aggressive US play, and I liked what I saw. But Spanky was just too much to crack after he got that nice defensive line in the center of the map. Thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment and like this video, and tell your friends. And we'll see you guys for next episode.